What's going on, vloggers, bloggers, and everyday toilet brewers? We're back again to show you what the Viking's Blood Mead looks like. It's completely done with its fermentation. So you can see where like the head went all the way up here and literally everything. And there's still just a tiny little bit of bubbles here and there. But trust me, this thing's been sitting for like 3-4 weeks now. And you got your yeast cake down here. So what I'm going to be doing today is that I'm going to rack it off and put it into my bucket because I don't have another 6-gallon one, and this is a 6-gallon fermenter. We're a little bit above 5 gallons, so I've got another. Do I have another? Hold on, I'll be right back. Well, it'd be a little full, but there's going to be no like bubbling or anything like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wash this guy out and rack it off onto this one. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to rack it over. We're going to treat it with some Candem tablets and some potassium metabisulfate. And what those do is that a lot of people think that they kill the yeast. What they do is that they basically kind of render them inert, especially a Candem tablet. This really makes sure, there's no other active live yeast cultures in there or anything like that. It gets rid of it. And then so after it all settles, and it clears up, and if it doesn't clear up, we'll sparkaloid it, which is another clearing agent that you can use. I am going to be putting into the, for it to like macerate and sit, these are charred oak cubes. They are Hungarian oak. I've got a medium toast. Probably just going to throw the whole bag in there, and then also some vanilla bean. And then we're also going to back sweeten it and everything like that, but that would be on a different video. And then I've also got some citrus acid right here that we'll see how it tastes. And if you want to kind of give it like that little pop, which, it kind of already has. I tried it and it was a little below its zero gravity. So that's one of the other things I want to test today and see if it just cleared up, because it was like 11% alcohol by volume when it should have been like 13. So, but yeah, these and other things like that you can put into secondary and stuff like that are pretty good. But we're going to call it like secondary as in like we're just going to rack it over, get all the yeast off. Then after that, we'll worry about the back sweetening and adding all the extra stuff like the toast and the, the vanilla bean, which this shit is expensive, by the way. Like, look, I only get 2 of them in there and it was like $30. Ridiculous. Either way, we'll come back with the other part here in a little while after I clean everything up and sanitize everything, and we'll show you what it looks like in the end. All right, so I've got everything that we're going to basically use, which is our potassium metabisulfate, and this is use a half teaspoon per gallon. So I put about 2.5 of these to equal 5 gallons, and then I put 1 Candem tablet in there, and that should be pretty good. And I'm basically just going to smash all that up and make it more into a powder, and then I wash that other carboy out and we'll put that in there, and then rack off the big jug over here. And so the racking off will actually create a spiral, and we won't have to worry about mixing this stuff in because it's already in there. All right, so I forgot to mention, but I think I might have talked about this in a previous brewing thing, that potassium metabisulfate isn't really like I would call something like a chemical. I mean, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh, they don't want to use any chemicals when they're making mead or something like that, but it's actually a preservative. You actually find stuff like potassium metabisulfate in like sodas, juices, and basically what that is that like say if you were to take like 100% organic juice, or just really any kind of juice, and or press your own juice, if you let it sit long enough, there'd probably be some random wild yeast that would start fermenting it. And so what a lot of companies do is that they'll purposely like put potassium metabisulfate in there because it doesn't really taste like anything. I know Candem tablets did. I think I did one where I tasted the brewing chemicals and told you how bad they were. But yeah, you can pick up like any household thing and it will say, potassium sorbate or something like that, which is it's basically the same thing. So yeah, this is potassium sorbate. and Candem tablets are potassium metabisulfate. So they're both, I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't say yeast killers, but I mean, maybe the Candem tablet is, because a lot of people like treat their juice, like especially if they press it themselves with a Candem tablet. Like, you literally just crush one or two of them up, throw them in your juice after you press it, and it will literally just take care of any yeast or anything like that. And then it goes inert after that. It won't just keep going. The potassium metabisulfate will keep going, but it doesn't just, blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah, I've got most of this. See, I've got it all crushed up there now. And you don't really have to crush this stuff up. It just makes it easier to get it into the carboy without it, spilling everywhere. And so, yeah. But like I said, I'm going to be racking this off onto that. There we go, that. And then I will put this in there, and we'll let it sit probably for about a week. And then we'll do the same thing. I'll clean this one out. We'll rack it off. And then what we'll do, actually, I'll rack it off into the bucket. And then what we'll do is that we'll back sweeten it with more bochet honey. And then we'll add our vanilla bean and our cubes. And I was thinking about using wine tannin, but I thought if we're going to oak this thing, we don't really need to worry about tannins, because we're adding more tannin into it, because the cubes are going to pretty much take care of that for us. So it should be pretty well balanced, And if it does taste a little too tart or something like that, or it just needs something, we'll use the citrus acid to help it out. All right, so we got our sanitized racking cane. We've got our sanitized jug down here as well too. Oop, almost forgot something. This is a cap that goes on your racking cane, and it basically kind of helps keep you above the yeast cake just by a little bit. So like I said, I've already sanitized this. And we'll just get it started up. Ooh, hold on. So I just put the potassium metabisulfate and the potassium sorbate in there. You can see it there at the bottom. So when we do, see, it's kind of got this brown color. So once we do, get it there we go. Mix it in. And we'll wait for this to go down. And I actually am going to test the gravity today and make sure it looks okay. That it settled out at 0.1. So I'll do that and I'll be back. All right, so we've got that moving. Got this into our graduated cylinder. Yeah, see, look at that. You can still see that it's pretty active. You know what I mean? So here's our hydrometer right in there. Come on. And, oh, I was just pointing randomly. See, look, we're just right under 1.0, so it's probably going to be 12.5 alcohol by volume. I don't know. I haven't used the alcohol by volume calculator, but sometimes you don't make it all the way to 1.00. I actually screwed up in the last video when I put 72 hours or seventh day. So when we were doing the yeast nutrient, which it got all of its things except technically the last one, because I kind of dropped the ball on that. But yeah, it was 24 hours, 48 hours, and then 72 hours, not seventh day. I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, I missed the 72 hour mark by 2 days. And so, yeah, which caused it to not get to exactly 1.001. But still, I mean, we're only 2 points off the mark, literally. So, I mean, we projected it to be exactly 13%, but it's 2.5. So I'll take 5%, I mean, we're not at a fucking lab. We're not in a brewery. We're doing this stuff in a two-bedroom apartment. But either way. So now that we've got a little bit, I didn't sanitize this because I'm not going to put this back in there. We're going to drink that. We're going to see how it tastes. All right, I got my Buzz brewing glass, and this is what we take to our brewing, club, and so because we all kind of taste our home brews and stuff like that together, and it's a pretty active community. We have a Discord and everything like that. So Yeah, like I said, it's not completely clear. And I've got my huge light on up there, so it's kind of got almost kind of like a brownish hue to it too, a little bit. It definitely smells like mead. Mead's kind of always had this kind of funk to it, and I know D47 is like the best yeast you can use for a mead, but it's always kind of had that. And I know this sounds weird as shit, but like, have you ever smelled like a trash can after you like dump the trash out, where it's got that like almost kind of like bubble gum trash smell? You know, I don't know. It's super hard to explain, but if you know mead, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you can smell the funk. The mead funk. Yeah, it's mellowed out a lot. Not a lot, but we'll get there. It's still pretty sour. Like a good sour, like a tart cherry. You know? But you can still smell it. You can smell the vanilla. It's really like right first when you smell it. You can smell the vanilla and then some of the caramel and stuff like that. It's still kind of a little sweet. But it's also very dry as well too. Yeah, you definitely get that caramel and toffee at the way in, but it's still very young and still very tart. So, but the oaking it and the vanilla and stuff like that are going to add to it really well, actually. Which, you know what? We're going to put those in today. We're going to let that sit. So, because I mean, anything that's going to go down is going to go down. The rest of this stuff's going to float and infuse. You can see the cheesecake. Because, you know, there'd be really no point of me like treating this, racking it, treating it. Yeah, we're going to dump it in. Actually, I decided against it. I definitely want to back sweeten it, but I've got to wait for this stuff to kick in before I can back sweeten it because we don't want to have things exploding. I did a video where I accidentally unintentionally bottle conditioned some strawberry mead that I had made. And you can see it's getting down to the nitty gritty. And I had some bottles that like literally exploded. And I'm trying not to make this video like 20 minutes long, so we'll just let this finish up. I'll put the let's see. Ooh. Crazy. That's just what the bottom of the carboy looks like. But you can see where that cap is holding it above the yeast cake, the one that I showed you earlier. And yeah, all that we don't even really need to worry about. So let that all go down. And see how it mixed in all that potassium metabisulfate? Lift it up a little bit. Come on, let gravity take effect. And I've already got a sanitized cap over here. What I usually do is I do this thing where I kind of stick this in here. Just to hold it so you don't have like a cord just laying around. But yeah, I've already got sanitizer in there. And it looks a little funky because it was hot water when I used it, so. But yeah. Well. At least we know it's going to be tight. God damn it. There we go. Yeah, never had that happen before. Oh yeah, and our stir bar is down there. So either way, yeah, we'll come back when we do the back sweetening and everything, and then we'll let it sit.